The transformation of a single habit can revolutionize your entire life, and that habit is learning to act through what you can control. When you train yourself to think about what's within your control and focus your attention there, your actions lead to impactful results. This might seem straightforward, even self-evident, but it's easy to underestimate or overlook. However, making a deliberate effort to change certain detrimental behaviors could be a turning point in your life. So, how do you start thinking this way, and how can you turn it into a habit? Stoicism offers a guide, aiming to bring mental tranquility and resilience to ordinary people facing life's challenges. Despite its ancient origins, Stoicism remains relevant because its teachings are clear, understandable, easily digestible, and, most importantly, practicable regardless of one's current situation. Stoicism is a potent tool for personal transformation, providing strategies to focus on what truly matters. This video will explore how to think and act based on what you can genuinely control. And if you're new here, help us extend this guidance to more people in need by liking, subscribing, and commenting on this video. What you can change: your speech. If you're over 20, you'll likely agree that learning and applying the practice of thinking before speaking earlier in life would have saved you from various troubles, preserved opportunities, maintained some relationships, and lessened certain sorrows. However, most of us react and think too quickly, acting on impulse, especially when our pride is wounded or our ego bruised. When feeling threatened or hurt, our instinct is to retaliate, crafting narratives in our minds and justifying anger or offense. This reaction leads to frustration and exacerbates the situation, letting emotions overwhelm us as if caught in a strong wave that sweeps through our entire being, driving us to unleash those emotions through words. Later, once calm, we realize how differently things could have unfolded had we paused to think. This is because, deep down, we still harbor our primitive instincts, where survival depended on snap judgments. While such quick decision-making is less critical for our survival today, it continues to influence our behavior. Allowing emotions to dictate our speech without thought means losing control over the situation. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, reminds us that our capacity for reasoning is what distinguishes us from animals. When we neglect or waste this capacity, we degrade ourselves to their level. Next time you feel your insecurities rising, someone provokes you, or you face a challenge, Stoicism suggests a different approach: pause before reacting. This brief moment of reflection can prevent rash decisions and words, helping you maintain control over your actions and reactions, aligning with the Stoic principle of focusing on what's within your control, your response to external stimuli. Giving yourself time to respond, whether a minute or 10, creates an opportunity to formulate a considered reply rather than an immediate reaction to your feelings. Alternatively, choosing not to respond at all can often be the most powerful reply. Silence can be a true demonstration of strength, especially when emotions are high. Developing the habit of focusing on what you can control starts with learning to think before you speak. Practicing mindfulness during conversations and thinking before responding, first in less charged discussions and later in more serious ones, can help evolve into our best selves. True strength comes from controlling our own reactions, not the situations around us. Epictetus shared that philosophy serves as a way of life, teaching us that it's not what happens to us but how we respond to it that matters. By looking within ourselves with sincerity, we realize that our reactions are what truly lie within our control. Stoicism teaches us to interact with the world in a way that better expresses our natural humanity and unique personality. Thinking before acting isn't about denying our identity or opting only for silence, but about mastering our emotions and impulses, allowing us to evolve into our most refined form. Your actions and efficiency in life are under your control and are determined by your daily behaviors. We can consciously shape our actions or passively let life dictate our course. Either way, we are making a choice. Just as speaking without thinking relinquishes our control, acting without thought, succumbing to impulses and emotions, leads us away from making our own choices, as philosopher Epictetus teaches. To change how we act every day, it's crucial to understand the motives behind our actions. Often, we act on autopilot, reflecting learned beliefs and values. To initiate change, we need to understand why we act the way we do, not with judgment, but to question our actions and their reasons. The story of the woman preparing a ham by cutting off the ends, as her mother and grandmother did, illustrates the importance of questioning our actions. It turned out the grandmother's practical reason no longer applied, highlighting how we sometimes follow actions senselessly without questioning their relevance. This initial step is crucial, as it lays the groundwork for profound behavioral change. Understanding this puts us on the right path to take actions more aligned with who we wish to be, embracing the Stoic approach to focusing on what we can control and respond. Join our Stoicist journey at Buy Me a Coffee. Support with a donation or as a member and have a voice in our community. Every coffee fuels our mission to share wisdom. Be our pillar, make a difference today, responding to life's challenges with thoughtful consideration and resilience. The second step is to set clear goals for the change we want to achieve. Seneca said, "If you don't know where you want to go, no wind will be favorable." This means that without a clear objective, we do not know what we want and cannot define how to act. Often, we fail at something not due to a lack of courage or willpower but because we have not clearly defined what we want. Your goals should be specific and realistic, such as deciding to cultivate more patience. A well-defined objective would be to count to 10 before responding when something irritates us and try to do this at least once a day for the next week. In a month, your mental control over staying calm will have increased, and by doing this gradually, you will have created the habit of remaining calm. Having goals makes it easier to effect change. The SMART system, which stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals, is a tool that can assist us. This method makes change seem more real and achievable, showing a clear path to follow. It means you choose to act in a specific way so that you can measure your progress, that it is achievable, that it will make a difference in your life, and that it is accomplished within a set time frame. When we know exactly what to do, we provide our brain with the stability it needs, saving energy that would be consumed by thinking about what we could do. This process changes our level of efficiency and increases our productivity. Implementing these changes in daily life means trying new things and possibly changing some routines. If you want to be more straightforward, for example, you can start by practicing speaking more assertively in simple situations and be less circuitous. This helps to gain confidence and make this new way of acting a habit. Another example, when you want to control your finances, one strategy is to create a budget and note all your expenses for the month. This helps you understand how you utilize your money. Hearing this for the first time may seem petty. Would I really have to note down every coffee or cheese bread I buy on the street? But imagine your house has some water leaks, and you only discover this when your water bill skyrockets. What would you do to find the problem? You would call a technician to find and fix these leaks, right? The principle is the same with finances. If we do not know where and how we spend, we end up using money thoughtlessly. You can use the SMART method to improve your finances. Set a clear goal of how much you want to save that is realistic, note your expenses to see how you are doing, and commit to this for 3 months. Controlling the way we act will influence every aspect of our lives: moral, financial, physical, social, and spiritual. Sometimes, we try to change in specific areas but end up losing control in others, as if we could only control parts of our life and not the whole. We want to be morally better but do not take care of our body and health. We seek to be more positive but mismanage our finances and spend recklessly. We decide to progress but constantly give in to some vice. Learning to act through what we can control is to take responsibility for all our actions in life comprehensively. Finally, it is important to always reflect on how we are doing, celebrate victories, and learn from mistakes. Changing behaviors is challenging. It doesn't happen linearly or progressively. It will be tough, and we will face setbacks. Viewing these moments as opportunities to learn helps us move forward and continue striving to improve. When you develop the habit of focusing your thoughts and actions on what you can control, you begin to cultivate a healthy mental outlook, which enables you to make progress in all aspects of your life. As this habit becomes stronger in your life, you will feel less irritated, anxious, and it is less likely that negative emotions will take root. Thus, acting efficiently becomes a habit. How you interpret and judge what happens to you, all practices, meditations, and actions start with training our attention on what we can control. Even if we do this automatically, our judgments and how we interpret what happens to us are entirely under our control. With social media posts and stories, we are trained to judge more quickly and automatically. I like this, I didn't like that, how ugly, how beautiful. Yet, even with this intensive training in judgment that we've acquired recently, how we judge and interpret what happens to us is under our control. The first principle of practical Stoicism is as follows: we do not react to events, we react to our judgments about them, and these judgments depend on ourselves. Marcus Aurelius writes in Meditations for himself about this: if something external causes you distress, it's not the thing itself that disturbs you but your judgment about it, and you have the power to wipe this out. In the view of Stoicism, our experiences of joy, sorrow, desires, and fears follow three stages. Something happens, we form a judgment or opinion about it, and then we react based on that judgment. Our task is to realize that between what happens and how we react, there lies our judgment about the situation. Often, this judgment may not be logical, and it's possible to learn to control it by thinking more clearly. This means we have the power to change our reaction because it is us who decide how to interpret what happens around us. Everything starts with the idea that the way we see the world is formed by what we believe, our opinions, and what we think about it. In other words, our reactions are based on our judgments, and we have the power to change those judgments. Swiping a phone screen or choosing fruits may seem automatic, not something we judge, but the Stoics consider all this an illusion. Stoicism teaches us to reflect on our thoughts, helping the mind to better understand itself. This idea becomes clearer when something affects us only mentally. Suppose someone insults you. The insult only matters if you decide it does. If it bothers you, it's because you chose to care about it, which is your choice. Instead, you could simply choose not to care, and the insult loses its power. Events do not compel you to think and feel aggrieved about them, only you can do that. We often think we are reacting to what happens in the world, but in fact, we are reacting to what happens inside us. Sometimes, changing ourselves is more efficient and smarter than trying to change the world. The Stoics believe that our judgments about feelings create our experience of them. A Stoic philosopher reminds us that everything depends on our opinion, ambition, luxury, greed, all are based on how we see things. According to him, a person's unhappiness is directly proportional to how much they believe they are unhappy. For example, physical pain or a cold are real sensations, but how we interpret them, how much they bother us, or the meaning we assign to them depends on us. Our feelings of pain or pleasure increase or decrease as we talk to ourselves about them or make deep, often unconscious judgments. Try to remember the last time you were sick with a cold. Beyond the discomfort, how much did you tell yourself, I hate being sick, this cold is terrible, I don't like feeling this way. We make judgments so automatically that we often don't even realize it, underestimating their impact. But the Stoics notice this and encourage us to pay attention to them. The Stoics show that we can change how we judge things, and this can transform our way of living much more than we think. The goal of Stoicism is to make us aware of these judgments so we can learn to manage them in the best possible way. The way we interpret life events profoundly shapes how we see the world. Often, we don't realize that this interpretation is influenced by our beliefs and past experiences. This is how some fears and traumas are born, grow, and take over our minds. Recognizing that we have the power to change our perspective is essential for true personal transformation. By challenging ourselves to look at situations under a new light, we can change our internal reality. Knowing that we can change this way of seeing things is the first step to truly improving. Each of us has the psychological capacity to change and transform this knowledge into a habit in our own lives. Commitment, This video took a lot of work to write because I thought about discussing the topic of control dichotomy in a different way. Then, I thought about my own life and how learning to think and act through what I can control has been changing my story, becoming a habit in my life, and being the most transformative. O.G. Mandino, a renowned American writer who overcame alcoholism by creating positive habits, once said, "Build good habits and become their slave." With this in mind, the last part of our video is dedicated to the glue that makes the intention to change become a habit, your commitment. The commitment you have to yourself that forces you to come here and watch this video again to absorb this knowledge and have the moral strength every day to put it into practice. Commitment means commitment. From the moment you say you will do something, you no longer have the freedom to do anything else. All changes, no matter how difficult and lengthy, are possible, but for that, you need to have a commitment to your own life. You learn to educate your will and have control over your desires. When we better control what we say, how we act, and how we interpret what happens to us, we have the opportunity to truly change our lives. And when we change our life, we automatically change the lives of everyone around us. The Stoic philosophy uses mental practices combined with a set of values that can guide us toward the best in ourselves. Developing a virtuous life actually leads to emotional wealth, a richness that teaches us to deal with our emotions. May you start practicing this new habit today, think and act through what you can control. And if you've made it this far, comment gratitude. By doing so, you confirm your commitment to change.